As we head towards the festive season, you may want to impress with your drink offer. And on Friday night at Motcombe's Sorelle Café bar, there's an evening of jazz and cocktails. Theo Maxwell near us and works all over the country, with much demand for his specialist skills as a mixologist. A cocktail maker who can create hundreds of drinks from memory. He's not a fan of the pre-mixed cocktails in cans from supermarkets.
I would say it's much more fun and it would taste a million times better if you make it yourself. And surprisingly, it's not that difficult. Obviously, people get the idea that, it can be quite tricky. You need lots of different ingredients or equipment or whatever it is to make a drink at home. And that's why they go for the sort of easy option of getting a canned cocktail. It's not going to be fresh ingredients. It's going to be preservatives. It's usually quite a cheap base spirit to make them, good value. Whereas I think a simple little bar setup at home, whether it's a shaker, a cocktail spoon, or a little mixing glass, and a well-stocked drinks cupboard, and you can make dozens of different drinks from a few different ingredients, and it will taste a million times better.
Do you think people are intimidated by the showmanship that goes with it? Because sometimes you go to cocktail bars and somebody thinks they're a bit of a Tom Cruise and there's all juggling and stuff going on, and you think, I'll never be able to do that at home.
If I had £1 for every time I got compared to Tom Cruise in the cocktail, I would probably be much richer than I am today. When it comes down to making drinks, you don't necessarily need the flair, the sort of extravagant showmanship behind it. I think certainly what I try and do and what we try and do as a business is create really good quality drinks from scratch. And I kind of feel that the sort of the flair you get in some quite... some establishments can be quite daunting, particularly for people who just want a really good drink. And so I think that's what we really just try and focus on, is making really good quality drinks.
So is the skill blending lots of different things and making something amazing, or is it just doing the classics, really straightforward things, and doing them well?
I think there's a skill certainly in making the classics really well. But there's also a skill of knowing what flavours go together, being able to take different spirits or different cures or fresh seasonal fruit and making something really tasty and quite unique with that. I think majority of the skill behind bartending is not just about what goes into the drink. It's also about the experience you create with the guest or the conversation that strikes up at the bar. And really that sort of hospitality, creating that atmosphere, if you will.
Is there cocktail snobbery? Are there tacky cocktails and classy ones? Because the ones if you go to a fun pub, let's call it a fun pub, none around Shaftesbury, obviously you'd have to go to a city. There are certain ones that will appear, and you'll always have pina colada, and there might be stuff like with smutty names, sex on the beach, and we're not going to list all the stuff because Ofcom will be on the phone.
I know exactly what you mean. There is definitely, certainly for myself, I think I definitely kind of shy away from any drinks that have exactly those crude, crass names or use too much neon-coloured things like blue curacao or overly artificial sweeteners or anything like that. I'm a bit of a purist, if you will. I like a classic recipe with tracing the drink's history back to what it should be, back to its roots. There's definitely... I'd like to think when I go out, I'm quite picky and a little bit snobbish when it comes to my partner's in the background. She's cutting at me because she knows it all too well about the sort of snobbery she experiences when I order a drink. But then again, I think it comes down to the person making them and how much they care for the sort of the hospitality side of it and how much they actually genuinely, the passion that they put into either their drink making or their hosting, if you will.
So on the other side of the coin then, were I to walk up to a bar somewhere, anywhere in the world, and want to appear successful, almost like a James Bond type thing, what should I ask for? And people who are in the know would think, classy guy.
That's a good question. Obviously, you have that iconic scene, and James Bond certainly comes to mind when if you're in a nice hotel bar or something like that and you're looking to order, there's that famous quote, martini shaken, not stirred, but I always think if you shake a martini, it's going to ruin it. He had a specific drink in mind, which was a Vesper martini, which you do shake. Anyway, I think having a little bit of knowledge about what you're ordering before you go up always helps, knowing what to look for on a menu. Also having your preferences. Do you like sweeter drinks? Do you prefer sour style cocktails? Do you like the bitterness that you get from Campari based cocktails? But I think there are few drinks as classy as a classic Negroni, so that's kind of go-to, and that's usually what I'd be ordering at a bar.
People, I suppose, will think cocktails come from New Orleans, but you're going to be offering this special evening at the Motcombe business that has a strong Italian theme. Sorelle, the name's Italian. Tilly worked for years in Italy. A lot of the food comes from Italy. So are there specific Italian cocktails that will be part of the evening that you're going to introduce people to?
So very much we're leaning into the theme of the venue, and obviously the love for Italian aperitivo food and drink culture that obviously came back from Italy with Tilly from her time there. So we're celebrating some of the classic Italian cocktails, a Negroni with really good gin, Campari, and Cocchi Vermouth di Torino, which is our favourite vermouth to use in the drink. We're also serving up a classic dry gin martini with a really lovely olive garnish. But then we've also created some signature drinks that really celebrate the season, as well as pairing with Italian ingredients. We've made a black cherry shrub that we're pairing with Amaro and chocolate for a really sort of silky smooth, rich drink. And we're also looking at things like fennel and pear, and we've also got bergamot liqueur going on the menu as well. So we're really sort of leaning into that Italian seasonal ingredients.
So those are one-offs then, Theo. You won't get those anywhere else.
Yeah, they are. Some of them obviously being classics, but we've incorporated our spin on them. We also love to create unique drinks that may appear on our menus in the future. But yeah, they are sort of one-off, created for the evening.
Now, final point, I once got into a big argument with a Cornishman when I lived down there because I wanted a vegetarian pasty and he told me there was no such thing. It was a pastry encasement. You can't get vegetarian pasties. So, mocktails, should they be allowed?
I think from my experience, non-alcoholic cocktails and cocktails are very different things, and I would refer to them as non-alcoholic cocktails because how our approach to them is not trying to similar to an alcoholic drink without the alcohol. What we like to do is create a unique drink in itself. So for that, using our experience, we've worked at places like Pitt House, where they developed Sprigster, which is a non-alcoholic botanical shrub. We work very closely with another fantastic botanical non-alcoholic drink. And also our good friend Dan at Vault Aperitivo, which is a London-based distillery. They make a brilliant non-alcoholic aperitivo that we're actually incorporating on the list at Sorelle. And it's made with an apple cider vinegar base. It's then incorporating bittering agents like wormwood, angelica root, as well as beetroot and purple carrot. So it's got this real depth of flavour and really unique taste that's not like an alcohol, and it's not like a mocktail. It's its own non-alcoholic cocktail. So we really play into that, and we experiment with different seasonal ingredients and create a flavourful drink that has the theatrics of an actual cocktail, so that people that aren't drinking for whatever reason can experience the sort of the enjoyment behind the whole theatrics of cocktail making without the alcohol.
Join Theo Maxwell on Friday night at Motcombe's Sorelle Café Bar for an evening